Vinny and Dana Papalardo here, coming to you straight from Long Island, New York. And we are excited to celebrate our third annual virtual function. Woo!
All right.
Wait a minute. We're also celebrating our 29th year in the business. As
Wow.
of, what'd you say, June?
We've been in 29 years.
29. He's getting old.
I'm telling you, man. My birthday's in a few days.
Yeah. Our anniversary was yesterday.
Oh boy, I'm telling you. How many years we married?
47.
Come on, that's not possible.
Yeah.
I'm only 25.
I was 6.
Oh man, I'm telling you. Well, anyway, we're excited to be here, guys, and we hope that this talk will really help you, maybe give you some clarity if you're brand new. It'll hopefully be a guide for you to be able to follow, and you know, we want you to be successful. And of course, success comes with hard work. And the name of this talk is, all right, history repeats itself. Stick with the basics. All right, and then we're going to try to take you through the basics and what we believe that is. And you know, it's interesting because when we talk about why does history repeat itself, and that's primarily because people don't learn from their mistakes,
Right.
and they don't expand their base of knowledge. Everybody thinks, oh, I know so much. You know, when you learn something in a book, you believe that it's true, but you don't really know that it's true until you do it. Until you go out and do what they're teaching you in the book, you really can't make the claim that it works. Once you do it and you find out that it works, now it becomes wisdom. And one of the things that we need to do in life is grow our base of wisdom, because history repeats. When, you know, and Richard Galloway, my good friend, you know, we love Richard and Dixie. They started New York City Relief. Richard taught me this many years ago. He said, Vinny, history repeats itself because people do not gain wisdom. And he says, what happens is they make a decision 5 years ago, and now they have to make a similar decision 5 years later. And because they haven't grown their base of wisdom, they use the same knowledge, the same information they had 5 years ago to make the decision that they have to make today.
That's right.
So they end up making the same decision, bad decision, and that's why history continues to repeat itself. We need to learn from history.
We did that a lot with our former business, with the furniture store. We just kept making the same mistakes over and over again.
Because we didn't have mentorship.
Right.
You know, I said last night when I was doing our group evaluation, I said, you know, one of the things that really impressed me about this opportunity was that I was going to be guided by someone who was successful. Successful not in biology, successful in the Amway opportunity.
Yeah.
And that excited me. Why? Because I wanted to be in business for myself. We wanted to sell Amway products. We wanted to build a network. And we knew that if someone who was successful was teaching us, we had a foot up on everybody else who didn't have someone successful teaching them.
Well, and I've got to be honest with you, that took me, not you, but me, it took me a little time, because when we got in the Amway business, I was 38 years old, and I was kind of stuck in my ways, and I thought, I know how to build a business. We had built a business, and I know how to educate myself, and I'll read my own books, I'll do my own thing, and I got this. I know how to talk to people. We were salespeople. But then, becoming more educated, I started to realize, wait a minute, I need to be coached by someone who's walked the walk before me.
Yeah. And we needed to increase our gratitude.
Yes.
You know, we were fighting against a lot of elements that had hit us. You know, life had hit us pretty hard. And of course, you know, you put up your barriers because you want to protect yourselves. Well, you know, when you have gratitude and you're grateful for where you are in life, and we had to learn this.
Yeah.
You know, it took us a while, but because of the mentorship, we learned it. But when you have gratitude, you're open to learning. When you have no gratitude and you don't appreciate where you are, I think you lose the ability to learn. And it's very important. That's why we always say we're looking for people who are, you know, grateful, that they have gratitude, that they're in this program. They have gratitude that they like what they see in this business. They appreciate the mentorship and the commitment. Dana, you've committed to so many people over the years.
Yes.
And have served so many people. And it's serving without expectation of receiving anything in return. We just want to help people.
That's right.
You know, and look, you've had one person to really help their whole life. That was me. You know, so.
Well, likewise, I think.
I know we're kidding, but you know, but we've always helped each other,
Yes.
which is really important. So, what we want to really kind of talk about is we have, over the last 29 years, with the help of Tony, Dennis, and Danielle, and all of the leaders on our team, we have developed a really, what I like to call a tight system. A system that people can come into and they can get acclimated to the business pretty quick.
Yes.
And if they have a desire to learn, then it's really going to be, they're going to expedite their education. They're going to increase their learning curve and cut down their learning curve dramatically. And one of the things that we talk about right away, and I'll explain why we do it this way, we want you to start a 30-day core run.
That's right.
30-day core run. And on that 30-day core run, one of the most important things to do is a budget session. You are now in business for yourselves. Right, hon? Dana, did we know anything about handling money when we got started? I mean, we know how to spend money, right? We could spend it good, right?
Well, personally, you knew how to run money in your business, but for us personally, no, we did not.
So now people get in business, and it's really important to have a budget. Because if you're going to make a lot of money one day, you certainly want to learn how to manage the money when you don't have a lot to manage. Because you'll never manage a lot if you can't even manage a little bit. So right away, we want you to start off with a budget. We want you to identify the things that you are spending money on that you don't need to spend, and how effective and efficient Ditto delivery is, and how you're not spending money that you're on Ditto. No, you're allocating your spending. Because you look at, when you do your budget, look at your food expenses. Look at the miscellaneous things, the variable things that you buy that you don't need to buy. You're going to take those dollars and put them into your Ditto, and you're actually going to save money, because here's the goal. We want you to, if you follow our system, we sincerely believe that in 2 or 3 months, you're going to see yourself saving money. You're going to start to cut down your debt, because what we teach works. And it's proven over and over again. We have so many testimonies of people who have gotten in the business and have right away, because they developed some customers, they started saving some money, they followed our budgeting system, they saved money, and they now start to pay down their debt. And after 2 or 3 months, they say, wow, this business is fantastic. The system is working. And as Tony said last night when we were talking at a night owl, he said, it's not a problem to contact when you know that what you're doing is really working. Mm-hmm. And he's right. So we have this tight system.
Well, and I kind of think of our system, if you think of how music is, and how in order to become a great musician, you have to do a lot of scales. Well, these are your scales. They're the basics. They're
yeah.
And you're practicing as you go through these. You're learning how to do it for yourself, but you're also learning how to spread that to your organization so that you'll be able to teach it within your organization.
Sure. You can't teach what you've never done. And part of that 30-day core run is reading every day. We want you to develop good habits. Good work habits for your business. So we want you to read every day. We want you to listen every day, right? We want you to...
And you can say, we want you to read every day. We want you to listen. You may be sitting there, because I know I felt this way as a new person. I read enough in college. I have so many books in me, I don't need another book in me. And I had read Dale Carnegie, and I had read Norman Vincent Peale and various authors. But bottom line is, I hadn't applied what I had read. In college, I was just studying the books for a test. In this business, I was not only studying them for the test of life, but I was studying them in order to apply them in our business. And that was the only way those books would be most valuable to me, and those audios would be most valuable to me.
And this is a business where people are going to learn from their upline.
Yes.
And you want to learn from someone who's doing it the right way. So that's why we're careful with how we take you through the process. Yep. Now you've gotten through the process and you're going to launch. Well, the next step is getting started properly. So you can start to teach people what you've learned, and that's how you create a large organization, because when people are doing things consistently, there's no confusion. Anytime you look at a team, whether it's a team of 10 or a team of 100, if there's confusion within that team, things start to happen that are negative because people don't know what to do. So if we have this great system that you can plug into and everything is laid out for you so you don't really have to reinvent the wheel, please don't reinvent the wheel. We know what we do. After 29 years, if we don't know what we're doing, if the team doesn't know what to do, something is wrong with us. And I haven't checked, but I don't think there's anything wrong with us. I think we're okay. So then why don't more people hit platinum sooner, hon? What is it? What's the difference?
And that's a question I've asked myself because, we're around so many diamonds from all walks of life, all different educations, all different past work environments that they were a part of. And I say to myself, what's different? Well, the difference, I believe, and I want you to answer this question, I believe in watching you and Tony and Dennis and Danielle, is the work ethic. And putting those blinders on, if you think of a horse, when you see a horse running and the blinders are on, they don't see what's going on the outside. They just run straight down that path. And I think knowing that you were able to do that so effectively, and our family was able to do that so effectively, not worrying about who got in, who quit, what products, what customers didn't repeat their sales, what customers, after maybe you sent them some samples, didn't purchase. We didn't worry about any of that, and yet you were able to have people looking at the business every week, many people every week, week after week, after week when we got in the business.
Okay, well, to me, it's pretty simple. Okay, I was dedicated to building our Amway business.
Yes.
All right, and I knew that I had to set the example because whatever I wanted my team to do, I had to do. So it's leaders leading, and you have to become a leader. But before we get into I get into more deep depth of that, which I want to come back to.
Okay.
I think a big problem for people is they don't have reasonable expectations as to the work that's involved because they've never done this type of work or they've never been in conventional business before.
Right.
If you talk to a conventional business owner, and we were conventional business owners, and Dana, you can describe it. How many days a week did I work in the furniture business?
Well, if I want to be honest,
Yeah.
You were there 7 days a week mentally, if you weren't there physically, but you were basically there 6 days a week and 2 nights a week.
I can tell you that Tony and Dennis and all of our leaders, whether you're on the Bowler team or you're on the Fry team or the Monaco team or the Ryan team or the Spark team or the Rec team, Louis and Jackie, New Diamonds in Dominican Republic. I mean, it doesn't matter. They all are focused on doing the work. So it's funny when I think of Dennis had a job during the day and he went to work during the day, and at night when he left that office from whatever time it was, 5 until 10 or 11 at night, 12 at night, he was working his business.
Yep.
Tony had several jobs along the way, and it was the same thing for him. He worked during the day,
Yep.
and then he worked his business. When we were going Emerald, Founders Emerald, and then we were going Diamond, hon, maybe you can describe what your day was like a little bit real quick, and what my day was like and my night was like.
Well, and I don't know what part you, as far as where, but I know when we were going Diamond, I was working at a contract furniture firm. I ran a department. I was responsible for all the major projects that were going on.
But you left what time in the morning?
So I would usually leave around 7 in the morning. So I was up at 6 in the morning, 6:15. And I would leave at 7 in the morning. I'd open up at 8 a.m. I would do, while I was at work, I made the decision I had to focus, otherwise I could make a major mistake. So I had to focus while I was at work. But as soon as I was supposed to be 9 to 5, but I was actually, because I was a senior in the company, I had to be there earlier. So as soon as 6 o'clock hit, guess what?
You were gone.
Amway time, and they could be begging me to stay. They could be, calling me on the phone. Sorry, my time was Amway. And
So,
and
so
that's
you,
what I did.
we built our business. I was home at that time during the day, and I was building the business during the day, doing meetings, whatever. But then at night, was I ever home?
No, never.
Did I ever watch TV?
No,
Did I play video games?
no,
Did I go fishing?
no,
Did I play softball?
no.
Did I shoot darts?
Did you go to the gym?
Did I go to the gym? No. All right. That's why I was 45 pounds overweight, because I ate a lot and I went to a lot of diners. But the bottom line is,
Yeah.
I didn't have any hobbies.
Right.
I loved photography. I wasn't a photographer anymore.
Yeah.
Right? The point of what I'm saying is there were no distractions in my life. The thing that we focused on was building this business. And I knew that one day we'd be able to do what we want every single day.
Yes, and that's not to say you cannot go to the gym. We're not telling you that. That was for us. But bottom line is, we'll see people that are at the gym 3 and 4 and 5 hours a day. They go in the morning, they go at night, and they're there a long time.
But they're not showing the plan
Right.
5 to 6 days a week. See, I don't care what you do. I don't care you have your job and then you have your hobbies. Are you building your business
right.
with the intensity of a business owner? Now,
Yeah.
if you're not looking to go, then this segment of this talk doesn't apply. Like, in other words, I don't want anybody to get discouraged.
No.
Because not everybody's ready to make that commitment, and that's perfectly okay. But that's why we have a system that's in place for you to learn what to do at your speed. I wanted to go fast. Why? We had huge debt, and I needed to get out of debt.
Well, and when we got in the business, and you're better with the time period of how long it took us to go platinum and so on and so forth, but I want you to remember, when we got in the business, you had 3 jobs. I had a job that entailed a lot of travel. I would travel literally to France back and forth, in Chicago and all different areas. And we do have 2 children, and they were young at the time.
Yeah, they weren't small kids, but they were young kids.
One was 9 and one was 14. So
Right.
So, we were busy with our family life.
But we had to make sure that I made sure I prioritized this business. So I think one of the reasons,
sure, yes.
yeah, I think one of the reasons why more people don't succeed quicker is they don't prioritize the business, and they have too many distractions, right?
Yeah, and I think it's those distractions and the discouragement. I think so many people, when we hear things like, well, I thought my brother would get in, or they're sad because someone got in and quit the business, I say to myself, do you know how many people quit along the way? But see, we didn't care about that. I want to just mention that story with Tony that we talked about last night, where I was almost embarrassed that he didn't care, but then I'm going to tell you what Vinny said. So he was very young. He was probably about 18 years old, and he had invited many of his classmates to a function. He had sponsored them. They were in the business. He was all excited.
But there was only 6 or 10
there
of
was
them. It
probably
wasn't a
about-
lot.
There was probably 6 or 10. Yeah, when I said a lot, I didn't mean hundreds. But so he invited them to a function, and the night of I think it was a Saturday night, they were out having partying. Well, all of a sudden I see Tony walking down the hallway, and all these kids are following him that were in his business, and he's going, "Get out of here. I don't want you in my business anymore. This is ridiculous. You don't want this. And there's no reason why. I'm not going to waste my time."
And if you know Tony, he said it in Tony style. All right? Not Dana style, right?
But it was so great, because he knew immediately when he saw that we had a diamond in the making. Why? Because he wasn't worried about that. And these people who didn't have the dream, they didn't have the motivation, they weren't interested in going to a function, they weren't interested. He realized he didn't have anything. So many people get discouraged with someone who quits or doesn't show up at a function or falls asleep in the front row, because if they really wanted this business, they would show up.
Yeah, and look, you don't know who's going to get in. You don't know who's not going to get in. That's why we have a process, right? So they can evaluate our business and we can evaluate them and build a relationship. My best friend didn't get into the business until 5 years ago. So I didn't build my business based on my friends and family. Dana's family really didn't get in. Her sister got in, Denise, and she didn't really do much. And my sisters got in, and one sister, Mary Jane, she created, havoc, and she was so negative. She had what we called the Pappalardo puss. I mean, she just looked miserable. So we didn't build our business with our family. As a matter of fact, I remember Ann Durso said something to me that was quite amazing. We went 1,000 in our second month, 1,000 PV on the performance bonus schedule. And then our whole group quit, all of about 6, 7 people. And I went over to Ann and Charlie. We went over to Ann and Charlie's house, and she says, how you doing? I said, oh, we're doing good, but our whole group quit. And she says, oh, your family, you mean? I said, yeah. She says, okay, now you can really build a good business because you got them out of the way. Now you can find the right people. So the people you want to build the business are not necessarily going to get in, so don't worry about it. That didn't determine whether we were successful.
No.
We were going to be successful because we were going to do the work. So yes, I was focused. Every week we had new people at the Open.
Yep.
I didn't, and we called the Open what we call a GE today. So at the Open, at the GE, we had new people every week. Why? I was committed to getting more eyeballs in front of the presentation. Because you can't control what people do. You can control what you do. You can control the attitude you have. You can control what you think about, and you can control what you say. But I can't control what somebody else does, so why worry about it? Why let it get you discouraged? Because if somebody is unfortunately not a good thinker or not going to like what we have, so what? I don't want to waste my time trying to convince them. That's why we have a process.
Well, I also think that being former business owners, we understood something. If we had a furniture store, if we didn't have sofas and coffee tables and lamps and all of the things that fill up a furniture store, if you walked in the store and said, I need a chair, and I said, there's one, and I had one chair, my business wouldn't grow. So we understood that our inventory was finding the people and developing the customers. We understood that we needed to know about the products and move products, and we understood that we needed the people in the business. That was our inventory.
And it took me time to get the skill set to be able to talk to people about this opportunity.
Yes.
All right. And I remember Charlie did it for me at the beginning. So if you're brand new, when you're ready to start talking to your list, to the people in your sphere of influence, let your upline help you make, your message. Let them help you construct your message so that you have a good message. Because when I got in, I was so excited. The first five of my friends I talked to, I was selling it to them. I was talking so much. I was talking so fast. I kept going. It turned them off. And none of those people came to the business meeting. Why? Because I did not have the skill set to talk about this properly. So let us help you with that.
Which is funny because we've got so many talks on how to talk to people, but not only the talks, you have your upline to go to who can help you learn how to talk to people, just as you're saying. And yet we'll have people come to us that we've offered, we'll help you with this, and they say, I don't know, I just am not having success. Well, but that goes back to coaching, and not only coaching, but being coachable.
And that's why it's important. If you look at this 30-day core run, and you look at this page, the first page is budget session. That's the most important thing. The second page is volume. Get your ditto set up. Understand the product so you can make some customers. Over on this column, we want you to read every day. We want you to listen. We want you to communicate. Why? Get into the habits that you need. So when people think, oh, I'm not having success, yes, you are if you look at these things properly. What is success? Success is long-term. Success for one day does not make you successful. Success for 2 weeks does not make you successful. Success comes from an extended period of time of work.
That's right.
That you get consistent. What do you think one of the reasons why we have you read Compound Effect by Darren Hardy is so important? Why? It shows you the effect of doing something every day, over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, and over that period of time, how that multiplies and magnifies. That's what our business is. Our business is developing leadership so that leaders can go out and find other leaders. That's what's exciting. So don't deviate from the system. We have a tight system. Follow it. We've developed it over 29 years with the help of some brilliant builders in this business, some of the best builders in North America, in my opinion. You got to focus. All right? Focus is important. Focus on what you want. How do you maintain your focus? Discipline. They go together. How do you stay disciplined? Remember what you want. Remember what you want. Put it up on the board every day, you know. Right, honey? Some of the things we put on the refrigerator, I would say to you, are you crazy? How are we going to get that? Everything you ever put on the refrigerator, we got.
No, I didn't get one thing.
What's that?
Okay, so I put, and I won't say who, but it was a woman with this magnificent body, and I put my head on her, where her face would normally be. I didn't get that body. I don't know. I didn't put in the work, though.
You didn't discipline. You didn't focus. You didn't starve yourself enough.
You were laughing when you came home and looked at that.
I said, wow, baby. Woo! It's okay. I still say that with you.
Yeah,
all right?
you do.
You got to do the work. It takes work to build this business. You got to do the work. Great attitude, right?
Yes.
You have a great attitude. You're joyful.
I love life.
Amen. You know, you got to have a good attitude. People need to see that you're happy. I think the people that do the best in this business are the people that embrace the community. They love the community. I love the community. I love the people. I am so proud of everybody, all right, who participates.
Well, I think for you, and I know for myself, you know, everything that we've attained, we believe, is because of our coaches and the guidance that we had through the years. And of course, it was the work that we did. But if we were to turn our backs on people and not be there for the people, that bothers us.
Yep.
You know, so we want to be there for you, and we are there for you.
Yeah, too much too much is given, much is expected.
Leaders are there for you.
100%.
Yes.
Integrity. You must have integrity to build this business. This is a people business. You cannot compromise your integrity. Your word is your worth, and your worth is your word. And then, you know, you got to put people first.
Yep.
We say it in our business, people before profits, and we mean it. All right? So, with all of this, there's something that is the difference. The people have the ability to put together, if they're married, they work together as a team. If they're single, they work together with their upline, and they create unity. They create unity. I have unity with you.
Yes, we do.
We're unified in how we think. We've developed that harmony.
Yes.
And that harmony comes across. When you sit with people, because you're doing the work and you're doing all these things, do people feel good about you? Do you make them feel like, wow, I want to be on that person's team. I want to follow that individual. They all have a unique harmony together.
Yes.
And they really enjoy people.
Yes.
So, in closing, we love you and we need you guys with us. God bless you guys.
Love you guys.
For the calendar year 2024, the average income from Amway for all U.S. registered IBOs at the Founders Platinum level and below was $723 before expenses. See www.amway.com/income-disclosure for details and the most up-to-date information. Earnings depend on many factors, including customer base, business experience, effort, dedication, and quality and performance of the downline sales team. While the techniques and approaches suggested have worked for others, no one can guarantee that these techniques and approaches will work for you. In addition, we want to emphasize that success in this business does not come without hard work. This is a copyrighted program of Markerman Productions, affiliated with MarkerNet Incorporated. Duplication of this program is strictly prohibited. For existing IBOs only, not for use with prospects.